Howdy, everybody. It's Brother Eric, the boogeyman, the local 308 union rep who was just at the local 308 barbecue party picnic festival. It was pretty good. It was lots of fun. I got to meet lots of co-workers I haven't seen for a while, get to know some retirees. It was hot, very hot. Set up a table. You may see the other video of me. We had some games for adults and children. I had children's books, graphic novel, all kind of stuff, history about the 1968 strikes, and got to just meet people. I had flyers. For my campaign for president, I was wearing a sign. And some people are like, yeah, I like this. What's this about? Talk to me about this. Talk to me about that. And I'm telling them about my agenda to help liberate Local 308 from CTA control and give it to the members. And it's really quite simple. Whatever else we can do, it's going to be up to the members, because the members will decide what we do as a union, not me. Not any officers, not some managers or politicians. Some people hugged me, shake my hand. Some people cursed me out. One member crumpled it up, and I'm going to step on this, and you shouldn't be here. You shouldn't be talking about this. Nobody wants to hear about this. And, I never forget I saw pictures of President Penny at the barbecue, and she was campaigning for president. So, I can do it. If she could do it, I could do it. Saying I got enemies and I need to just be quiet. And some retirees even got angry and said, we can't vote. I'm like, what you mean you can't vote? You can vote for president. You can vote for the officers. No, we can't. I work with Brian Alexander and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no. I'm sure if Brother Bryant was there, he would correct them. Because there's something called the bylaws. Okay, and I just want to let the retirees know who may be watching this that you can vote for president. Even Brother Cleve Atkins was saying, yeah, they can't vote. They're looking at me like, yeah, Brother Eric, you don't know what you're talking about. Trying to get retirees to vote for you. They can't vote. Like, no, you gotta. So I just want to share with everybody about that. Okay, section 27, subsection H. It says here explicitly, members retiring on pension from active service and who continue in good standing shall have a voice, but no vote on any matters affecting the local, except that they shall be permitted to vote in the election of all local officers and delegates to conventions elected by the entire membership of Local 308, but not in the election of any other officers or delegates. So you're a retired trackman, you can't choose who's going to be the executive board for trackman, but you have a vote for who's going to be president. Okay, so I don't know. I think that I think they know this, but they're so angry that I'm running for president. They're so angry I'm there, and they're so angry I have flyers. They're so angry I was wearing a sign that said Eric Basir for president, that they wanted to say that to make me shut up and go away. And one member was extremely drunk, extremely intoxicated, and he's like, you need to get out of here. You ain't nothing, and this and that, and I said, okay, yeah, I'm leaving. Yeah, and he said, you say people shouldn't go to parties. I said, yeah, well, I'm here. But here's the thing. I never said people shouldn't go to parties. All right? I said boycott parties when we should be fighting. I said we should be spending our money educating the members, fighting like a real union, not partying. But this party was set up, and I had no say in it. No member had any say in this party. Our president unilaterally took our money and spent it to make this party. All right? So you never even had a voice in this. So any of y'all that tell me, well, you say we shouldn't party, I'm like, yeah, but we party. So here's the party, and I'm going to use that party. I'm going to use every opportunity, every meeting, wherever there's local 308 members. If I'm off work, I'm going to go to these meetings and listen to people, share with people my agenda regarding being president. No problem. I mean, y'all don't want me there? Fine. Tell me to leave. Call the cops on me. Whatever. That's fine. No problem. I saw some officers look very upset that I was there, and they were on their phones, so maybe they were saying, should we call the cops to have him? He's out here again, Maybe, maybe not. But I was there. The children, parents brought their children over. They were shooting the targets of terrible working conditions, and they got little drawings that I made for them. And it was a really wonderful time. And the whole thing was about the message that the union belongs to the members and that we can fight the CTA to take what we deserve. And of course, some pensioners that I spoke with talked about how they have never gotten a cost of living raise. And I said, well, you know who got cost of living raise? I said, the union officials. They get cost of living full time in the ATU International. And they were astonished. I'm like, yeah, it's in the Constitution. They get it. I said, well, what about us? I said, yeah, exactly. And I said, they'll tell you we can't do nothing about it because it's the law. But we have to do something. If the law is wrong, we got to change the law so that the retirees can get a cost of living. I mean, you got retirees. They retired 20 years ago, right? 15 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago. Cost of living is very high. So their pension is not able to afford them to a very comfortable lifestyle that they deserve and should have. And comfortable, we'll even say dignified, And when retirees have to leave, they don't want to leave the city, but they have to leave because they can't afford to live here. That's not good. That's not good. And, it was told to me about the no strike clause. So I invited people to come to my table. I had the contract there. I said, I'm going to pay you $100 if you could show me the no strike clause in the contract. Nobody took me up on that. Our our lobbyist, he said, according to the Metropolitan, one law, there's a no strike clause. I said, okay, fine. I have to go look that up. So I got to look that up, but that's not the contract. Okay, and that's what I'm asking for. And everyone's saying it's in there. But I'm going to look for that, and I'm going to find it, and I'll make sure I'm going to write about this no strike clause. Because, see, there's an Illinois Labor Relations Act. That's what governs us. But I'll ask you this, too, dear, I keep forgetting his name, our so-called lobbyist. And he trolls me sometimes on LinkedIn. But we are continuously our contract is continuously being spat upon. Our human rights are being spat upon. Our pensioners are being disrespected. And I'm here for the pension. I want that pension. So I have an interest in this too. When do the righteous give in to the unrighteous? Do they? Do they just let them continue to abuse them? So you say there's a no strike clause in the such and such act of such and so. Okay. My ancestors and God, I keep forgetting his name. Jeez, I can't remember his name. Well, anyways, they're saying it's the law, it's the law, it's the law. So my ancestors, his ancestors, a lot of y'all out here, your ancestors were conquered by other people, right? In the Americas, in Africa, and then brought to the Americas. There were laws. There were laws that dictated whether you could own property, whether you could read, whether you could vote. And these were laws. And they said you can't do these things. How did we break those laws? we had to break them, right? We had to go about a process to break them. But in some cases, in many cases, we refused. We went ahead, taught each other how to read, taught each other how to write. The voting wasn't so easy, so had to do things like civil disobedience, strikes. Oops. You know, you got to rebel. So when the law is wrong, you don't sit there and say, well, we can't fight because it's the law. But the law is wrong. So if there is this no strike law, which I have to find now because he says it's there, so I have to go see it. He wouldn't tell me exactly. He said the Metropolitan Act of I forgot, but I know the act that he's talking about. I got to find the language. But we have the Illinois Labor Relations Act, which has an explicit right to strike, as in Section 17, and we have our contract, which has no such thing as a no-strike clause. The only unions at the CTA with no-strike clauses are electricians, carpenters, ironworkers, painters, blacksmiths. All these other unions got it, but except us. We don't have it. There is a thing about interest arbitration, but that's about grievances. And the whole point is, we had 2 strikes, and I brought a little booklet, 28-page booklet, to the barbecue today, in case anyone wanted to read it. And it talked about the 2 wildcat strikes and what they did, and it's working. It's really, really working, because I saw the anger of my detractors, and then I got to meet the people who support what I'm doing, you know, and it was a 50-50 like it usually is.